Good morning. I am Michele Denton, and Mary Hunt and I have been doing virtual art for the schools in Scottsbluff. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Nebraska Arts Council, the Nebraska Cultural Endowment, the National Endowment for the Arts, and Scottsbluff Public Schools. Without their support and help, we wouldn't be able to come to you and give you some art classes. So today I am going to talk about Henri. It looks like Henri, but it's Henri Matisse. And he was a French artist, and he actually passed away before I was even born. And I'm old, so that was a long time ago. But he is mostly well known for doing landscapes and still lifes. But when he was about 40, he got cancer. And so he was made to stay in bed or a wheelchair, and he was very disabled. So he started cutting up scraps of paper and gluing them down and making collages. So that's what we're going to do today. Here is one of his collages, and he's called it the snail. Maybe if you can use your imagination, you can kind of see a snail. It's kind of curved around. It kind of looks like a snail. So they're very abstract. They don't look like the real tree. Now this one's closer. Here's bird in tree, and you can kind of see the birds, and you see the trees and the leaves. That's a little more understandable. But we are going to do something like this with cut paper. Now, my design, this is a collage, and a collage is used with paper or cuttings out of magazines or newspapers. I don't know if you've ever done that and glued them all together. So we're going to choose a different theme. I chose flowers. So let's get started and make some collages. So the materials you'll need today: colored paper, scissors, glue stick, your imagination, and then I put down paper plates or scratch paper because when you use a glue stick, if you glue it on the back, sometimes it gets the glue all over everything. So that kind of corrodes your glue, so you don't get it on everything. So I'm going to choose black background. And then I'm going to pick maybe 3 different colors I'm going to cut. That one's orange. Then I've got a blue. And maybe I'll use pink. Now I can continue to do flowers like I did before, or maybe your theme. A theme is your overall idea that has some similarities. Maybe you want to do dogs, or maybe you want to do fish or birds or something different. But I'm going to just do flowers because it's kind of easiest for me. Now, when I'm cutting, I use a scissor to cut, but I am not going to cut moving the scissor. I'm going to move the paper. So I am just going to move the paper around, and you don't have to worry about it being perfect. In fact, this is kind of a big piece of paper. So sometimes what I do is make it smaller, and then just cut around. Now that's kind of a flower shape. Now, instead of throwing those little pieces away, save them because you might need them later. I'll move this stuff out of the way. So I've got one flower started. Looks kind of funky, right? Then maybe I'll make a stem with some leaves on it. Now, I did not draw any of this on. I'm just practicing, just cutting, not making any care. I don't care whether it's perfect or not. Just kind of go with it. Imagine that you're really sick like poor Matisse was in the hospital, and he was just glad to have something to get his mind off of his illness and also create art. If you're an artist, sometimes you can't help it. You just have to make art no matter what. So this is going to be my leaf and stem. And I'm going to put that on there. It looks kind of funny, doesn't it? Now, if you're using 3 colors, you kind of think about maybe using this color again somewhere. So maybe I'll make another weird flower. Now, see, remember how I'm using my paper? This is a really weird one. Actually, it looks like a body. I'm going to put it up there. And also, there's this thing called negative shape. And what we've been cutting out are positive shapes. So I am going to use the part where I cut that weird thing out that looked like a figure. I'm going to use that as part of my collage. I'm going to just stick that up in that corner. Maybe I better get some more tape. I'm going to cut just a piece out of it. It's a little easier to handle than using that huge paper. Maybe I'm going to make some grass. So I'm going to just cut some triangles out of there. This is fun. A lot of artists make collage work. You'll have to look around and see what kind of collages that you might already know of. Now this is the negative shape. I'm going to use that in this corner down here, and maybe I'll have that coming out of the middle of there. So I'm kind of like planning my artwork. And then all these little pieces, what could I do with those? Maybe they would be like little pokey things coming out of the side of that branch. They're like little buds maybe for those flowers. What do you think? Now, if you like dinosaurs or, I don't know, horses, you could try to cut out all those things. Whoops, that one's going the wrong way, isn't it? So after I've got my design planned out, we'll pretend I've got everything done here. Then you're going to want to use your glue stick. And I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to use this yellow one. Now, try out your glue stick first to make sure it's going good. Sometimes they get kind of stale on the end. Now, remember that right there, I've already used glue, so you don't want to put your piece down there. So then just go along and apply your glue, all those edges. And then you can start gluing your collage on. Now this guy. Now it's possible if you lay this down that you are going to lay it into some of the glue that you already have there. But I don't think that's such a bad thing. It's going to dry anyway. And it won't make your picture look bad. Let's see, where was I going to put him? I was going to put him along there somewhere. Okay, Mr. Flower. If your hands get sticky, like you notice, I just had a stickiness on my finger there to pick it up. You might have to have a little paper towel or something to wash yourself off with. Yeah, see, I've got it in the glue. So anyway, go ahead and completely finish it. You're gluing like that. Sometimes you can also glue something like even over the top. I'll try to do this without making it too big of a mess, but I'll put him there. Maybe I want to put that guy there, sticking off the edge. Now I can either leave him sticking off the edge, that makes it kind of unique, or then later when my picture's all dry, I can come back and then just trim that piece off. So don't worry about going off of the edges. So see if you can make something, a wonderful collage that looks like Henri Matisse. That'll be fun. Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.